You can grab Amos 5:21 for me. All right, shalom, y'all. With Most High in Christ. To everybody out there watching, this is I.S.U.P.K. Philadelphia, coming to you straight from the Philadelphia school. Tonight we're gonna go into Valentine's Day. We're about a week away. I think almost exactly a week away from so-called Valentine's Day. And right now, a lot of young and old men are going to be under a lot of pressure to perform. The same way to be under pressure to perform around Thanksgiving. The same way you under pressure to perform around Christmas. All these holidays put a lot of pressure on adults and Valentine's Day, specifically men, to prove something to their significant other, prove something to their wife, to their woman, their girlfriend, whatever you call it. And the pressure that is put on you to perform during Valentine's Day, when I say perform, I mean go out and buy the gift, buy the cards, buy the candy, the heart-shaped candy. Go out and make reservations for a restaurant. For you Negroes with a little bit of money, you're gonna go take her on a trip or go out of town and do something extravagant like that. You're under a lot of pressure to do these type of things around this time, especially a week out. And that pressure that's under you is extremely vain. That pressure that you're under right now means nothing to the Most High. It means nothing to God. But it is something that's imposed upon you through society for a lot of different reasons. For a lot of different reasons right now, society is putting on you the pressure to go out and buy gifts for your girlfriend. Go out and buy that teddy bear. Go out and buy those clothes she wants, those shoes she wants. The obvious reason that should be obvious to everybody is that every year, whoever the hell is selling cards is making a killing. Whoever sells Hallmark cards, whoever sells candy, whoever sells a teddy bear, whoever sells flights or shoes and women's clothing is making a killing every year, every February, out of the blue, because we have this tradition, this holiday of love, some celebration of love in American society. And the celebration of love is just a very base understanding of what Valentine's Day is. The other reason you celebrate Valentine's Day, not only because, the company just have another reason to sell you something. Other than that, you celebrate Valentine's Day because of the long traditions that go into from other cultures outside of America. Valentine's Day is not an exclusively American thing. It's not an exclusively modern thing. This ain't something new. These traditions of so-called love and sex and coming together with your significant other did not start in the United States. It didn't start in your church or in your neighborhood or in your country. It started with old pagan European customs and philosophies long before the ones that we are under today. So the question is, to somebody who is a Christian, is a Muslim, doesn't believe in God, is atheist. So all these people that have different understandings and different walks of life when it comes to religion, or it comes to the Most High, when it comes to God, when it comes to a higher power, when it comes to spirituality, whatever you want to call it. If you believe in Jesus, if you believe in God, damn, even if you believe in Allah, or if you believe in nothing at all, why are you celebrating a custom that has nothing to do with your belief system? Because if you're a Christian, I don't believe that Valentine's Day is anywhere in here. And definitely the old traditions connected to Valentine's Day, the old pagan customs connected to Valentine's Day, are not in the Bible. You can't find those things in the Quran. And if you're an atheist, why are you celebrating a custom? If you don't believe in God, why are you celebrating a custom that's tied to old ancient gods, old ancient Babylonian and European gods? Well, why would you do that if you claim to not believe in God? Because in all actuality, today, right now in America, everybody disbelieves in Christianity or being an American. Being an American, and Americans celebrate Christmas, regardless of what they claim to believe in or claim to be. Americans celebrate Valentine's Day, Halloween, all these customs that have nothing to do with what you claim you are, you feed into. Because really, in all actuality, you are just an American. You're an American, and you're a slave to society. You're a slave to whatever is fed to you. Right. And if Valentine's Day is fed to you as a day that you celebrate love and come together with your woman, come together with your man, you'll celebrate it simply because that's what you've been taught to do. But you don't give any credence to how it matches or how it correlates with the rest of history or correlates with what you claim to believe in. So let's get on Amos 5:21. Start off. Right now, what we're going to show you, right now, what we're going to show you is the foundation of why the I.S.U.P.K does not celebrate any mainstream holidays, your Thanksgivings, your Christmas, your Valentine's Day. What else they got? Halloween, New Year's Eve that just passed. All these holidays that we are fed in America, and I.S.U.P.K, we will not celebrate those holidays. We don't celebrate those because we have a foundation of rules and laws and customs in the Bible that we adhere to. So the next few scriptures I'm going to bring out are going to be along the lines of showing that how all these holidays, not just Valentine's, of course we're talking about Valentine's Day today, but all these holidays correlate with these scriptures as far as us not celebrating them. So let's get Amos 5:21.
Come. Book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 21. I despise your feast days.
I despise your feast days. Read that from the top again.
Come. I despise your feast days.
This is coming from the Bible, straight from the Most High, straight from the words of the Most High, straight from the words inspired by the Most High. Read it one more time.
Come. I despise your feast days.
I despise your feast days. What is a feast day? A feast day, or what is a feast? A feast is a day you come together with your family and you eat a big meal. Well, we might see it on TV. You might watch an old medieval movie and you see the king up there with all his subjects with a lot of food, and celebration and dancing and things like that. You have a feast every day. I'm sorry, you have a feast many times a year. Every time you celebrate Christmas, you have a feast. Every Valentine's Day, you get together with your wife, or your husband, and have a feast. Every Halloween, you have a feast of candy. We have certain feasts that belong to us as humans, but belong to us as carnal beings that we decide to follow. Things like Christmas, things like Valentine's Day. Read that scripture again.
Come. I despise your feast days.
I despise your feast days. Your feast days, the ones that we decide to celebrate as people, as humans, the ones that have been pushed on us in the United States. These feast days, the Most High God, He hates them. He does not stand with them. Right. Even though you've been taught Christmas in your church, taught Thanksgiving, taught Valentine's Day, these things are hated by the Most High, and that further goes to show that Christianity and mainstream religion has nothing to do with the Bible, nothing to do with God. Right. You go to church and believe that they're the authorities on God. You believe your pastor knows right from wrong when it comes to the scriptures, knows right and wrong when it comes to the Bible and how to follow the Most High. But your pastor leads you astray, right, because the very holidays that belong to us and do not belong to the Most High, the very holidays, the very celebrations that are nowhere to be found in the customs of the Israelites, nowhere to be found in the history of the Bible, nowhere to be seen, somehow make it into your church. Somehow a Christmas tree makes it into your church when there's no tradition of that in the Bible. It's not in there. Somehow Valentine's Day makes it into your church. Have I ever seen a Valentine's Day celebration at a church personally? No. But I know Christianity well enough to know that next week they're going to have something at the church for Valentine's Day. There's going to be some dinner or some service or something. Some churches are going to have. Because really whatever's in it, like I said before, whatever's in American society, that's what Christianity is. Christianity just flows whatever people like. And if people like Christmas, people like Thanksgiving, people like Valentine's Day, it will be in your church. It will be in your church regardless of the fact that the Most High hates Valentine's Day. Regardless of the fact that God hates Christmas, your pastor will feed you with whatever you like to eat. Whatever you want to see, he'll show it to you because he simply wants your support, mainly your financial support. He want to make sure that you buy them cars for him, buy them mansions, make the church bigger, more of a damn castle and a damn spectacle for the world to see.
Right.
Your pastor wants your money, and it's hard to get money telling people the truth. It's hard to get money telling people you can't celebrate Christmas. It's hard to get money telling people you can't have Valentine's Day. Right? Like I said, right now, a lot of brothers in the Black and Hispanic community they're going to be under a lot of pressure in this next week because they're going to be under pressure from their woman to buy these damn gifts. It's harder to have a woman when you don't have a designated day where you got to buy her a gift. It's hard. It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to at least get one under your belt, but without already having a designated day where you're gonna give her a gift. Because women like gifts. Women like nice things. Women like candy and trips and going out to dinner. Women like the attention that Valentine's Day grants them. And it's hard to get somebody in your church if you tell them you can't have Valentine's Day no more. You won't get that attention every year. You won't have a designated day just for you and your husband to spend time with each other. That won't happen anymore because that's against God. Yeah, and the Christian church has been like that from its beginning. Since Rome, the Christian church has twisted the words of the Most High in order for gain, in order to be more accepting by people. The reason that we have Valentine's Day, we're going to get into it later. The reason that we have these traditions of Valentine's Day in America or in the church are because early on in Rome, the Christian church, the Roman Catholic Church, decided to bring in these Valentine's Day customs, to bring in these pagan customs, because people who are already pagan weren't Christians, weren't in the Roman Catholic Church. It made it easier for them to come into the church if they could do traditions that were similar to what they already followed. And many of the holidays that we celebrate that are touted in the church, that's how they came into the church. Because the Roman Catholic Church says instead of telling people that they can't do this thing, we'll just change it up a little bit. We'll make it a little less nasty. We ain't gonna have all the orgies and all the crazy sex. We ain't gonna do no human sacrifices and nothing like that. We're gonna tailor it down a little bit so people will be more accepting of coming into the church. And that's how Christianity, that's how modern day Christianity is made. It goes from trying to actually follow the Bible, trying to actually follow Christ, to every February 14th having a dinner at your church for Valentine's Day when Valentine's Day isn't even in the Bible. Read that one last time, Amos 5:21.
Come. Amos chapter 5, verse 21. I despise your feast days.
So you remember that when you fall weak and go out and celebrate Valentine's Day, even though the I.S.U.P.K told you not to. When you go fall week and you go celebrate Valentine's Day, you go out next year and you go to the Christmas dinner, the Thanksgiving dinner. You remember that the Most High, the Lord, hates your feast days. He hates that celebration because that celebration is not for him, not authorized by him. It's not a day that he ordered you to worship, you to celebrate. Read on.
Come. And I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
Give me Exodus 20:2. The Most High, he is not going to smell in your solemn assemblies. He won't respect your celebration. He won't respect that feast day that you decide to have, because like I said, that feast day is not of him. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna go to Exodus 20:2.
Come. Book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord Yahweh, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
This is a message from the Most High, from God to the Israelites, to black people, to Hispanics and Native Indians. Read on.
Out of the house of bondage, verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me. The Most High ordered us. He gave us a law, a commandment to have no other gods before him. But before the Israelites, before Jacob, nations of people, races of people, they worship whatever, and they worship many things.
Right.
You would have customs and cultures where they would, worship the moon and the stars. Look at the Arabs. Before the Israelites came around, they would worship, that they had 365 gods, one for each day of the year. You have different races of people that would worship the wind, the stars, the dirt. They would have different festivals for whenever the seasons changed. Before us, you would just worship all types of gods and all types of deities. But when Israel came around, the Most High, He gave us, we were only to obey Him, to follow Him, and to have only one God is really unnatural. Because even, like I was saying before, even in America, where people think they worship one God, they worship many gods. You worshiping a God when you celebrate Valentine's Day. You worshiping a God when you go to church. You worshiping a different God when you celebrate Halloween. And unbeknownst to you, you're worshiping many gods. But according to the Bible, read that verse again.
Come. Verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
We are to have one God, Yahweh in the Hebrew. That is who we are to obey. And when we worship, when we feed into things like Valentine's Day, we are following another God. We are following another God, unbeknownst to us, like I said. Because in America, we aren't educated on the history of these holidays. So we think that Valentine's Day is just a day for love, a day for, to celebrate love with your significant other, with your family, I guess some people do. Mainly Valentine's Day in America, all it's really evolved into is a day for couples to come together and really for men to go out and get their wife a gift. That's really all it's really evolved into in actuality in this country. And that's what we think it's for, just a day, for couples and relationships and things and love and all that good stuff. But we don't have any other, like I said, education on why are we doing this on this? Why is it their specific day? Why is it on the specific day that we celebrate this holiday? Because it comes from old customs that are way older than America, way older than our generation. And those customs come from the worship of another God. It's not just a day to love. It's not just a day to get together and love your family. It comes from old customs from all the way back in the Roman Empire and the Babylonian Empire. Read on.
Come. Verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above.
Give me 1 John 3 and 18. 1 John 3 and 18. So those two scriptures we broke down, Amos 5 and 21, and we just read Exodus 20 and 2. Those scriptures give you a good foundation on why we cannot worship that Valentine's Day or any holiday, any mainstream everyday holiday in America. We cannot celebrate those things. We can't celebrate the holidays and any other religion or customs outside of what's in the scriptures. The only holidays that we celebrate, that we respect, are the ones that are in the scriptures. Those are the ones that the Most High ordered us to worship. The Most High ordered us to celebrate. All these other traditions are traditions to prop up other gods, other deities, other idols, other powers other than the Most High. Now we're gonna go to 1 John 3 and 18. Now we're gonna get more into this whole love thing, because, like I said, Valentine's Day, everybody thinks it's just a day for love. If you tell somebody, if you tell somebody, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, to them it'll be strange, because it's just a day where you show love. It's just something nice to do to show you thinking about somebody, so that you care about somebody. But why is love tied so much to material things? Because once again, that's all it really comes down to. Right. We can act like it's about the thought that counts, and all the little things they tell you. It's the thoughts that count, or this is just how I show my appreciation and all that garbage. When it comes down to it, if you don't go somewhere and buy something on that day for the person that you claim to love, the world will look at you like you don't love them. If you don't go out and buy those flowers, take her out to eat, buy that card, get them the candy, if you don't give them the Valentine's Day card. If you don't do these things, if you don't go out and go in your pocket and spend his money on a specific day, you'll be seen as somebody who doesn't love your wife, doesn't love your husband. But in reality, we cannot tie our love to material. We can't tie our love to things that are so vain. I can't tie my love to somebody because of a rose I gave on one day in February. You can't tie your love to your husband or the proof of whether or not he loves you based upon him, taking you out to eat one Tuesday in February. It can't be that simple. According to the Most High, your love is tied to the commandments, and that's what we're going to get into. Your love cannot be tied to, or is not tied to, vanity, things that don't mean anything. And in the grand scheme of things, you giving somebody a bouquet of flowers, that doesn't mean you love somebody. Because rest assured, I could give I could give my wife a bouquet of flowers right now, give her a chocolate and candy, and leave her tomorrow. Right. Give her candy, go take her out to eat, and have sex with her, and leave her, and never talk to her again the next day. And because that's what men do. What's definitely going to happen next week is brothers are going to find that woman that may be single, or maybe their husband forgot to buy the gift next week. The man they do have, they without a man. They mad at their man because their man forgot to buy him something, and they gonna pop up with them roses. Some that brother what they call your work husband. Your work husband, he gonna pop up with them flowers. He gonna pop up with the candy. He gonna give it to you, and you gonna have sex with him because you believe that the love is tied to that candy. You believe that love is tied to that purchase of them flowers. Right. And after that, he gonna have sex with you because that's the only reason he wanna give you the flowers anyway. And after that, he gonna act like he never knew you. He gonna be done with you because that love and commitment is not tied to gifts. And it's simple, but it's so evil that our sense of morality, our sense of right and wrong, our sense of how to treat each other has been tied to such small and simple things that we will make or break relationships based upon literally a bouquet of flowers, literally going out to eat one day. Right. So let's go on. Let's go to 1 John 3:18. It's
the book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 18. Little children, it is the last time. As ye have heard that an antichrist shall come, even now are there many antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time.
You sure that's 1 John?
Come.
Maybe it's just John. Hold on, let me see.
John.
Let me check. So like, I might look. 1 second. So like, look at it one more time. Make sure you're in chapter 3. It's definitely 1 John 3:18, but that's not what it.
Oh, that was in chapter 2.
Okay, go ahead. You can read it when you're ready.
Come. The book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 18. My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. Let's not just love in word. Let's not just love in gifts and little creature comforts. Let our love be in deed. Let me have sex with a woman, and because I had sex with her, because I laid down with her, I'll never leave her. I'll never leave her unless she go have sex with somebody else. Unless that woman go cheat on me, and I had sex with her, I will never leave her. That's love. Even in reverse, a woman. I decide to have sex with a man, I will stay with this man for the rest of my life, as long as I live, no matter what happens to me. If the man run me over with a car, and break both of my legs, and I go to the hospital, once I wake up from that coma, eventually, one day, I gotta get back with that man. I cannot leave him for the rest of my life until he dies. You gotta stay with him. Same thing for the brothers. If your woman one day decide to stab you, which they might do to you every now and again, right. you get stabbed. She hits you up real good with that knife, and you get the bleeding out and pass out, right. And you wake up in the hospital. Thank the Most High, thank God. After you wake up, you might give it a few months. You might not talk to her for a little while, right. But if she don't go have sex with somebody else, that's still your woman. That level of commitment is true love. A rose can't amount to that.
Valentine's Day card cannot amount to that level of love. That's true love. That's true commitment. So we ain't just loving and talking. We ain't just loving with some words written down on a Valentine's Day card. We are ordered to love indeed. We are ordered to love through our actions. Right. Read that from the top.
Come on, book of 1 John chapter 3, verse 18. My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth.
But in deed and in truth. Let's go on to John 5, 1 John 5 and 3. We're going to show you what love is according to the Bible. Because in the Christian church and just in American society, we have been taught that love is just a feeling. Love is mainly about how you feel about, a person, a place, or a thing. You love this thing because you have a certain feeling when you see this thing, when you interact with somebody, that is, the butterflies in your stomach or the sense of enjoyment when you're somewhere with you or when you're with somebody. But according to the Most High, according to the Bible, love is way deeper than just a feeling. We can't just base our love upon feeling good about something. Feeling good about something. Because I could feel great about my wife. You can feel great about your husband. Brother, you feel great about your wife. You according to you love her to death until death actually come, until somebody actually come to rob y'all and you run up the street like Usain Bolt. Right. You think you love her to death until somebody break into the house and you hide underneath the bed and hide in the closet. You thought you love her until then. True love is more about rules, not a feeling. Because I can feel nothing for somebody. I mean, feeling meaning actually feel something. I can feel nothing for somebody and still love them through my actions. So still love them through, for example, the I.S.U.P.K. We're a large organization, right? It's a brother that may live in Colorado that let's say Colorado, that I've never met. I don't know him, but I know somebody over there that's in the school that I heard about. They got a good reputation. I love that brother. I would die for that brother. I'm willing to teach that brother. I want to sacrifice the things for that brother as a precinct captain in I.S.U.P.K. because that's my responsibility. It's not because I actually feel anything about him. I don't know him, never seen him, never talked to him, never had a conversation with him. But I love him just because the rule is to love him. The rule is to die for him. The rule is to teach him. The rule is to, if I have an issue with that brother, to go with him and deal with it. That's a rule. It's not me feeling any type of way about it. It's just me knowing simply what's right and what's wrong. And I always do the right thing, not because I feel good about doing the right thing. Because sometimes you might not feel good about doing the right thing. Right. Sometimes you might not want to work it out with your rib. Sometimes you might not want to work it out with your husband. Sometimes you want to delete them out your phone, move out the house, and never talk to them again. But you loving them as a rule and staying with them is what really bonds you together, not just a feeling. Because feelings fade, feelings come and go, but rules and standards, they always stay. And that's how you really maintain a relationship, a platonic or a romantic relationship. That's how you maintain it. You maintain it through rules and standards. And we get those rules and standards from the Bible. So let me get on 1 John 5 and 3.
Come. Book of 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of God.
This is the love of God. In the Christian church, they talk a lot about God. They say they love God, they love Jesus. But like the other scripture said, we are to love in deed, not just tongue, not just words. We aren't to just sing about loving God, to sing about loving Jesus, because that's what they do in the church. They do that amazingly. You go in the church, they got a bunch of songs and albums. Discographies were dedicated to talking about Jesus, talking about God, how much they love God. Christian women talk about Jesus like, that's their man. Like they having sex with Jesus. They're in a personal relationship with Jesus. Like that's their husband. That's their literal husband, Jesus. People talk a big game about loving God, loving Jesus. What else people say? People say, they put God first. I pray every day, just to keep God first. When I was keeping close with me, they wear a cross around their neck. Shit. Now they're wearing a shield of David, because they just want to keep God with them. They just want to represent for the Most High. They do all these little small things and all this talking about God, but this here in the scripture is going to show you what the love of God actually is. Read it from the top.
Come. The book of 1 John chapter 5 verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments.
That we keep his commandments. This is how you love God, and this is how you show love to your brother, to your sister, to your wife, to your husband. Read it one more time.
Come. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments.
That we keep his commandments. So what does that mean? That means that I'm going to love God by keeping the commandments, meaning I am going to love a person based upon the laws in the Bible.
Right.
So like I said, if I have a brother if I have a issue with a brother and a sister, there's rules and standards in the Bible, in the New Testament, about what I should do, about going to them and handling and how to handle the issue between the brother and sister. That's how I love them. There's rules that says that a man should love his family, love his wife like Christ loved the church. If I love the school, if I know that Christ is willing to give his life for the church, give his life for Israel, I should be willing to do the same for my wife. I can read in the scriptures and see how it teaches us how to rear up a child, how to raise your son, how to raise your daughter. I go in the scriptures and I follow those instructions. Right. Once again, love is not just about a feeling. Love and feelings are really, in love, feelings are really irrelevant. What's relevant is the commandment, is the rule. And that's how you maintain love. And that's why they can't maintain love outside of the I.S.U.P.K. That's why you can't maintain love outside of knowledge of the Most High. Because if you don't have knowledge of the Most High, all you have is your feelings. All you have is the feeling of love, the feeling of betrayal, the feeling of heartache, the feeling of not being loved. And that's why we have so many failed marriages, failed relationships in the Black and Hispanic community. Right. Because our standard is whether or not it makes us feel good. In other cultures, at least traditionally, maybe things are changing more now as time goes on, but in other cultures, still to this day, and Chinese culture, the East Indian culture, definitely certain Arab cultures, and their cultures, their standards are not based upon simply I feel good about this person, but being with this person is a good sound decision. It's a good sound decision. My father paid a large dowry to bring our families together, so I'm gonna marry this woman. I'm gonna marry this man. It's a good sound decision. If I leave this person, I'll be making myself a whore. If I throw this woman away, I'll be making myself, a whoremonger, and everybody will disgrace me for throwing this woman out and leaving her out in the cold, so to speak. Those are rules and standards. That's a culture that you build, not really based upon how you feel, but what's right and wrong. And what's right is that you find somebody. It seems like they seem like a good person. They think you're a good person. You lay down, you have sex, you have a marriage ceremony, and after that, it's done. After that, it's done, and then no other changes should be made, because when you start making changes, that's when you have a woman that has a very high body count, which a lot of men don't like. That's when you got a man that has no respect for women. That man that we all talk about that don't respect women and have sex with a lot of women, that brother is there because America made him that way. America told him that he should do whatever makes him feel good. America told him that he should do whatever makes him happy. Happiness. That's definitely a big aspect of this. Do whatever makes you happy. And if having sex with hoes makes me happy, I'm not going to commit to no woman. I'm not going to, give no woman no money or help her out with the bills or, raising my kids. Maybe raising kids doesn't make me happy. You can't tell these people these type of concepts like happiness is the, happiness and so-called love is the paramount of what my life should be about, and expect people not to do things that make them happy. And if being a hoe makes a woman happy, in America, she should be allowed to do it, right? If I'm having sex with a lot of different women, not raising my kids, breaking women's heart, if that makes me happy, that makes me feel good about myself, why not do it? Because it makes me happy. And in America, we have fell into our feelings. fell into what makes us feel good and not what is right and what is wrong. Really, in America, the only thing that's right is whatever makes you happy. That's what's correct. That's what's true. But it's, according to God, there are standards. There are standards and customs that we have to adhere to in order to truly show our love for the Most High and show love for our brothers and sisters. Read 1 John 5:3 once again.
Come. 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments.
This is the love of God, that we keep his commandments. Once again, you love you love the Most High. You love God by keeping his commandment. You can't say you love God and don't follow him. The Most High and Christ are just like any good father. Any good father, your father has rules. Your father wants you to come in the house by 6 o'clock. Your father wants you to take the trash out. Your father wants you to keep your room clean. And if you don't follow those rules, your father he chastises you. He beats you. He puts you on punishment. God is no different. God is the Most High. God is not this God that we hear about in church, that we hear about on TV, that just really just a genie, just somebody that you go to when you're in hard times, that you pray to, and he just all knowing and all seeing, but he just really just only capable of love and sweet and tender things. Right. The Most High is like a father. He causes love, he causes good things, but he also causes punishment and destruction. And when you don't obey him, he punishes you. So if you want to love the Most High, you have to follow his commandments. If you want to love your brother, love your sister, if you want to truly love your husband on this upcoming Valentine's Day, truly love your wife this upcoming Valentine's Day, you should dedicate your time to learning the scriptures, learning the standards and the rules about marriage according to the Bible. And you come here in I.S.U.P.K to do that. And here we show you how to truly love one another instead of just doing whatever makes you feel good. In the Christian church, they'll tell you, woman, thou art loosed. Your man ain't paying the bills. Who cares about all them kids y'all got? Who cares about how long you've been with them? Who cares about the sex y'all had? Woman, thou art loose. Y'all unevenly yoked. Don't suffer that man. Leave him. Put him on child support. Forget them kids. Who really care about the kids anyway? The kids will be fine. I'll just find somebody new. Find somebody new that I can leave again. Somebody that I can be, and just be in an endless cycle of trying to find somebody that perfectly loves me and does everything that I want them to do. And that's how you end up alone, man or woman. It happens a lot with women because those are the messages that are fed to women. And women, it's easier for a woman to find somebody to have sex with. So when a woman, in a lot of women's minds, they feel like I can just easily go find somebody else. So if this guy ain't making me happy, this guy isn't loving me, I'll just go find somebody else because they can find somebody else to have sex with. The question is, are they going to find somebody that actually want to stay with them for more than 2 days? And on one day, are you going to be able to find somebody that you are willing to suffer for? Because if you can't be in any relationship, you're not willing to suffer, man or woman. And the problem, one of the other overarching problems in relationships in the Black and Hispanic community is that we are not willing to suffer. We are not willing to work things out. We aren't willing to compromise. We aren't willing to find a way. We always look at a divorce or breaking up as an option, and that is that you can't have divorce as an option if you want to keep a relationship. And the problem why relationships always quickly fizzle out in the Black and Hispanic communities because breaking up is always an option. It's always it's always there as a even if you don't want to leave. Leaving is always in the corner of your eye. It's always there. It's something that you can go out and do and move on to the next thing. The reason the I.S.U.P.K has found success in marrying brothers and sisters coming to the school married and stay for longer than they may have otherwise is because we don't see divorce as an option. We read the scriptures and we don't see it in there as an option. It's not something that we can do. The only reason a man can divorce a woman is if she cheats on him. It's the only thing. If she goes out and have sex with another man. If the only reason a woman can leave a man if he dies, or if he puts her away and go leave the truth and go on just never want to talk to her again. But except for those few circumstances, we have to stay with each other. And that's why we last, because everybody argues. Everybody is going to argue. Everybody is going to fight. But the question is whether or not you are going to be willing to survive the fight. Are you going to be able to survive the argument? That's the difference between a quick relationship that lasts 2 or 5 years and one where you'll die with your partner. That's the difference. Whether or not you are willing to suffer, forgive, whether or not you are willing to fight for what you have. And according to the Bible, we got to fight for what we have. We're not going to find somebody or find some woman that just does everything that you want to do. She's gonna be like the lady on Coming to America. When you tell her to jump, she gonna jump. You tell her to bark, she gonna bark. She gonna roll over and do this cook and clean and just have sex with you, and that's it. That's what you want, but you're not gonna find that. You're not gonna find a woman that just does everything that you want. You think you're gonna find a man that's just gonna pay all your bills, have sex with you, and cook, and wash the dishes, and raise the kids. You want to find a man that does everything, and you ain't got to do nothing. You're not going to find that. You're not going to find that. You're going to have to find some. You're going to have to find some level of compromise. Eventually, we all going to have to stop. Eventually, we're all going to have to stop trying to find the perfect person and figure out who's at least damn good enough. Who at least is good enough for me to stay with. And that's the only way we're going to fix all these issues that we have in the black community when it comes to relationships. Let me get Jeremiah 10:2. Jeremiah 10:2. This is another one that's just foundational as far as us following the Most High and not worshiping other gods, not celebrating holidays outside of the Bible. So read that one right quick.
Come. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen.
Learn not the way of the heathen. Who is the heathen? The heathen is anybody outside of black people, Hispanics, and Native Indians, otherwise biblically known as the Israelites, the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel.
Right.
Read that one more time.
Come. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Learn not the way of the heathen. The heathen teaches you that you got to celebrate Christmas every December 25th.
Right.
Christmas teaches the heathen teaches you that every December you better be out buying them gifts, wrapping them gifts, putting that tree in your house, and that's that's a custom that that's supposed to bring your family close together, and you show your love for your family and your kids and all that. You also got a holiday that you're supposed to adhere to. If you love your woman, if you love your husband, you got to celebrate Valentine's Day every February 14th. You got to go out and you have to give a gift to your husband, to your wife, to show them your true love, that you truly love and are on their side. These things are customs of the heathen. These things are things that we have learned not from the Most High, not from God's people, but from the people that God did not choose, from people that don't obey God, don't have God's customs. Read that from the top.
Come. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed by them.
Like I said before, these customs that we follow are really just, they're very base. Like they're the type of, they seem complex now in modern day society, but they're really just the type of holidays that are like a caveman would worship, or the type of God a caveman would worship. With a caveman, like somebody just an ancient human that don't have any knowledge of God or any knowledge of history or science or anything, but just his base nature. What he does is he go outside of that cave, he look up in the sky, he see a star, and he's dismayed by them. He fears the star. He sees a shooting star. He sees an asteroid in the sky. He doesn't have any knowledge or understanding of anything, so he begins to worship that thing he saw in the sky. He begins to worship the moon because he's stupid. He's stupid, so he just worships, whatever serves him or whatever he's scared of. So they're scared of the cold. They begin to have a holiday every December because they celebrate that the cold is about to be over with. If they enjoy the springtime when it's hot, they have a holiday around February because they're joyous that now things will start growing again and it won't be as cold. And all these go. Yes. Exactly. That's what somebody does when you don't know, you ain't did no research. If you just imagine if you just, like I said, a caveman, just somebody that woke up as a human and they just decide, well, then I guess the groundhog will tell me when it's gonna be when it's gonna be spring again. I guess the groundhog gonna tell me when the weather gonna change because they don't have any knowledge or understanding. They don't know about no science. They don't know anything about God or about, that He can really controls these things. So they just look to whatever they see in nature. Go ahead.
I believe one of these years the groundhog was dead.
Yeah, I think something happened with the myth is that the groundhog is supposed like he like 300 years old or something like that. But I think one of these years, of course that's not true. They change it every few years because nigga die. But I think something happened where he fell off the stage like last year. He fell out. Something happened where he got scared and he fell off the stage, and that's what people worship in the groundhog. In 2023, we still some fools out there in PA worshiping the groundhog, and those type of customs are really just the same type of customs in Valentine's Day and Christmas. They're dressed up and they seem more modern now, but as far as where they came from, they're just festivals that people got together and did because the weather was changing, and that people wanted to celebrate, fertility, or celebrate the winter, or celebrate the spring, celebrate, more light or less light being out in the sky. And that's all they are because they come from the heathen who had no knowledge of who actually created the planet, who actually created the sun, the moon, the stars, who actually changes the seasons every year, who actually made the groundhog and the bull and the lion, all these different deities heathens worship. So read that one more time, Jeremiah 10:2.
Come, book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen.
Learn not the way of the heathen, go ahead.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
So don't you fear, you can't fear the elements. You can't worship the sun, the moon, the stars. You can't worship the seasons because that's what the heathen does. The heathen does because of his lack of knowledge. He worships Valentine's Day. He worships Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, because they don't have any knowledge. And now today you worship those things not necessarily because of lack of knowledge about science and things like that or the Most High, but you have a lack of knowledge on history, and you just do whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you feel good, and you do whatever makes you taught, whatever you were taught. And the heathen taught you that. Another race of people have taught you that, and you just follow after. You want to say something, Claudia?
Oh yeah, isn't this another precept for the horoscopes and zodiac signs?
Yes, definitely. And then that's another thing that I wouldn't think somebody would be doing in 2023 is looking at the stars and the horoscopes and the constellations and saying because that star, because those three stars lined up that way, and I was born on this day, this month, I'm a hoe. That's why, because I'm mean because it's a triangle instead of a square in the sky, and I was born in September, so I'm an asshole. That is being dismayed at the signs of heaven or worshiping the stars, and that's a religion in itself. And I never got that either. Why? Really going to the whole top of the class, that why we have all these customs and still are Christians. Like somebody, those people that believe in the horoscopes and all that, those be Muslims and Christians, like people that grew up regular lives, but somehow they can also be a Christian and believe that they're a Taurus because they was born in March or whatever it is. It's having multiple gods. Your God is the white Jesus or Allah or something or Buddha and the stars, and you think you can do both. You think you can just worship everything. But if you're going to actually worship the Most High, you're going to actually follow God. You can't follow Him and believe in the stars and worship a Christmas tree every December 25th and celebrate Valentine's Day. You got to pick a side. You can't be lukewarm. You can't play both sides. You have to pick who you want to follow. And you can't follow the Most High and believe in everything else that is taught. You going to try to give me John 5:42.
John
5 and 42.
Book of John, chapter 5, verse 42. But I know you, that ye have not the love of God in you.
Read one more time, so like my bad.
Come. Book of John, chapter 5, verse 42. But I know you, that ye have not the love of God in you.
You know not you know not. You do not have the love of God in you. You believe that you had the love of God because you celebrate Valentine's Day. You think that solidifies your love for your family, your love for the Most High, that you being a good person because you celebrate Valentine's Day, but you don't have the love of God in you. You are ignorant of the love of God because you celebrate Valentine's Day, because you celebrate these things, because you believe in these vanities, and you connect these vanities, you connect these gifts, you connect these creature comforts, you connect things that really don't matter to following God, to loving your family. That in itself means that you don't have the love of God in you. You don't love God. You love America. You love Christianity. You love the philosophies and the way of life that we have here, but you don't love the way of life that the Most High gave you. And you've been tricked into believing that the way you live your life is the best way, is the good way to do it, or you're doing the best you can, at least. But the way you live is completely opposite of what the Most High gave to us. Let me read it one more time. We're gonna move on from that. Read it one more time.
Come. This is Book of John, chapter 5, verse 42. But I know you, that ye have not the love of God in you.
You have not the love of God in you. So if you celebrating Valentine's Day, celebrating Christmas, if you're gonna go out the next week and go get you one of them big old teddy bears that's 6 feet tall, get you one of them heart-shaped boxes with the candies in it, and walk into the house to see your wife like a damn buffoon with with a big old bouquet of roses, a giant teddy bear, and candy for a grown woman. That's another one. You're 35. And I got to give you candy to show I love you? God damn, you 40. That's a sidebar, but it's damn like how old, at what age do I not have to give you candy to show I love you? I can see if this is for kids. I get it. We giving little things to kids to show them that we care about them. But damn, you got to show a 40-year-old woman that you love her through literally chocolate. No exaggeration. Literally give her some chocolate, and that's how you show her that you love her. You would think when you get older, you get up in age, you would have a little more wisdom to realize that this chocolate really don't matter as far as him loving me. Maybe I shouldn't leave him because he didn't give me flowers and a teddy bear. Would you want to have a teddy bear to go sleep with at night when you're 45? These things are vain, and if you believe that these things correlate with loving God, you don't you just don't understand what loving God truly means, or loving your family or your husband really means. I'm gonna try to find this video. I'm gonna just play the audio. It is giving a good breakdown of the history of Valentine's Day prior to what we're doing today. Let me just find this. I'm gonna just play it. I'm just hoping y'all should. There's not too many people in the room, so y'all should be able to hear it. Definitely the people on YouTube be able to hear it. Give me 1 second. So like I said, Valentine's Day is way older, predates American culture, it predates modern day Christianity, and it comes from old pagan customs. In Christianity, the word pagan really means basically anything or any worship that's outside of Christianity. That's the term pagan. But also pagan is just really most of the things that we consider pagan are old customs from Babylon, the Greeks, the Romans, and these customs often have some tie to nature. Some tie to people back then worshiping the elements, worshiping the seasons, definitely. And we're gonna see in the video. But these things are typically we're married into Christianity, and that's how we get modern day Christianity the way it is. Let me make sure I find the right part.
The During this time, the winter solstice is long gone.
Can y'all hear it in the
Pagans
room?
are now seeing that the days are getting. So where did Valentine's Day come from?
Oh, there we go.
Many people think that it's just one of those American holidays that we just partake in. It's just something that we as Americans do. But the celebration of Valentine's Day is not American. Others like to believe that it is a Christian holiday because it was named after a Christian saint by the Roman Catholic Church. But the truth is that Valentine's Day was made by the Roman Catholic Church to Christianize the pagan celebration of Lupercalia.
The word Valentine is named after a Christian saint, Saint Valentine. Just get a little background on what he just said. But before Saint Valentine, people worshiped Valentine's Day. Before they named it Valentine's Day, after Saint Valentine, it was called something else. That's what we're about to get into.
Lupercalia was one of the most ancient Roman festivals, which was celebrated every year in honor of Lupercus, the god of fertility, also known as the god Faunus. This festival, which celebrated the coming of spring, included fertility rites, orgies, fornication, sex with minors, drunkenness, and other activities like the pairing off of women with men by lottery.
So, like I said before, these customs that we have now are a lot more, like I said, like he said in the video, they're Christianized. So the Christian church took these customs and tried to clean them up again a bit. So back then, there was a lot of orgies, a lot of sex with random people. It was, what's the word I'm looking for? Very riotous. Like, and then a lot of the holidays back then, like when you see when the Eagles won that game last week, you saw the people rush out to go celebrate. A lot of the ancient holidays were like that. They weren't, getting together with your family. I guess the closest thing that I know that we still have today that I can compare it to is what's that shit called? New Year's Eve. New Year's the kind of similar to that spirit. Imagine New Year's Eve with a little bit of riot and orgies in the streets. A lot of the customs that these holidays come from, originally they were just that. It was really just it's wintertime or springtime, and in this case, the brother's gonna bring it out. But in this case, they was worshiping Lupercalia, and they was worshiping the fertility god because it was coming into the springtime. Around February is when the days start getting longer, and we start reaching into the spring. And people will worship that time because it's getting warmer, things are growing, and they worship fertility, meaning the ability to have children, because around that time, that's when the different animals begin to breed. That's when the rabbits start to breed, and the bears wake up and breed, and people would feed into that, and they would believe that they would be able to, have sex and have kids if they worship these deities around this time. And we're gonna get more in detail. I damn near said what he meant to say, so like we'll go.
Lupercalia was a fertility festival dedicated to Faunus, as well as to the founders of Rome, Romulus and Remus. During this time, the winter solstice is long gone, and the pagans are now seeing that the days are getting gradually longer. This was one of the most important fertility festivals for pagans. The festival was held on the 15th of February in the Lupercal, where Romulus and Remus were said to have been nurtured by the she-wolf. The place contained an altar and a grove sacred to the god Lupercus. At Lupercal, the Luperci, who were the priests, assembled on the day of Lupercalia and sacrificed goats and dogs. These animals were known for their strong sexual instinct, making them most appropriate sacrifices to the god of fertility. Then the Luperci cut thongs from the skins of the sacrificial animals and ran in two bands around the Palatine Hill. They would whip any women who came near them. A blow from the thong was supposed to make a woman fertile.
So another thing they would do, I'm just to say it again, just in case it's hard to understand. You're saying it kind of fast. Another thing they would do, they would sacrifice goats and dogs, because goats and dogs, they were known for their sexual prowess. Like a dog go like to have sex, and a goat like to go hump something. So they would sacrifice those animals, and the priests would put on, after they would sacrifice them, they would kill them. The priests would put on like their dead hides. So they take they skin the dog, skin the goat, put their hides on, and go run around bloody with a dead animal on them, and go whip women. They would go out to the town or whatever and whip women. And women thought if you got hit with the whip, that would make it, you would be able to get pregnant. And that's where the fertility thing goes in. They believe that these customs will make them have the ability to have sex and have children.
It's said that young women would actually line up for the men to hit them. Now, if you just dig a little deeper, you can understand further what is being celebrated. Lupercalia is believed to be connected to the ancient Greek festival of Arcadian Lacaia and the worship of Pan. Lupercalia is the Roman form of worship of the Greek god Pan. Pan can be traced to the sun god Baal. He is the horn god. And we know Baal is none other than Nimrod. Nimrod was the original Lupercus. The Lupercalia, the festival of the Romans, held during the time we know today as Valentine's Day, was a festival to honor Nimrod, just in this Roman form.
So basically, we're saying is even before Rome, in Babylon, in Babylon, which is predates Rome, they had similar customs of a fertility festival where they worship Baal or Nimrod. So it's really just showing how far-reaching it is. It's not American culture. It goes back to Roman culture, and even before that, they had similar customs in Babylon. I'm trying to get to one part. I'm trying to get to one part where you said you were going to talk about.
Which a woman's name was written.
Here we go.
And of marriage. February 14th was her festival day. A box was provided from which single men could draw a billet, a small piece of paper on which a woman's name was written. The couple would then form a temporary liaison for the erotic games to follow. Sometimes they would remain partners for the following 12 months. Marriage sometimes resulted from this practice.
So they would just to give you the mindset of with the tradition, one of the specific traditions of the holiday back then. They would basically what he described is they would do like a raffle where they would put women's names in a bucket or whatever, and then the single men would go grab the name out of the hat, and they would have sex with whoever's name was on the paper. So once again, it just really a time to just have sex. It's about sex and getting pregnant, and they believe that this was like how they would worship their God by orgies and sacrifices and things like that. Now let me I'm trying to get to the one part where he break a pretty good
Who the Roman Catholic Church
break down of when
yeah,
there we go. So now we're going. I'm probably the last part of the video. I'm gonna play, but like I said, these customs originally were customs about worshiping fertility and the coming of the spring. And it's Lupercalia was the name of the festival, and that's what it was about. It was about celebrating specifically fertility, being able to have children, and the coming of the spring. And they did that through a lot of lewd sex and a little bit of violence and real riotous things like that. And now we're gonna get into more. Now the last part of my page is kind of how it became a little more modern and closer to what we know today.
Valentine's Day is said to be named after a few Christian martyrs who the Roman Catholic Church named saints. According to one story, Roman Emperor Claudius II imposed a ban on marriages because too many young men were dodging the draft by getting married. At that time, only single men had to enter the army. There was a Roman physician and priest who had converted to Christianity when it was a persecuted religion. His name was Valentinus of Terni, and according to some of the stories, he used to marry Christian couples in secret. It was said he wore a ring with a cupid on it, which is used as a symbol of love. We'll cover that soon. The ring helped soldiers recognize him. When he was exposed, he was imprisoned, tortured, and beheaded. Later, he became a martyr and the patron saint of true love and marriages. While awaiting execution, he was visited by young lovers with notes about how much better love is than war. Some think of these love letters as the first Valentines. Valentinus' execution occurred on February 14th in the year 269. Later on, after Rome adopted Christianity and the Roman Empire fell, and the Holy Roman Empire began, the Roman Catholic Church made changes. The church was opposed to this display of open eroticism and sensuality that occurred during Lupercalia. In the 5th century, Pope Gelasius declared February 14th a holy day in honor of Valentines, instead of the pagan god Lupercus. As with most non-biblical customs found in the church today, Lupercalia was simply given a Christian-sounding name and adopted into the Universal Catholic Church.
And that's pretty much how it happened. It's really that simple. The Valentine Day. Valentine was a man named Saint Valentine. He was in the early days of the Roman Catholic Church, before Rome, as a society, took upon Christianity as their religion. In the early days, he was a saint in the church that married people when there was a ban on marriages in the country, in the empire. And because he was doing that, because he was marrying people when there was a ban by the emperor, he was killed. He was killed, so he became like a martyr, because he was standing up for love when the big bad king didn't want everybody to love each other. So later on, when Rome was a lot more smaller country, but the Roman Catholic Church began to become very powerful. And Rome took on the Roman Catholic Church, Christianity, as its main religion. So what they did in order to marry the traditions of Rome along with these new traditions in the Christian church, they found a way to take this festival of Lupercalia, where they had like a lot of orgies and whatnot. They took away the orgies, but they said you still can celebrate on this day. You can still celebrate love on this day, but instead of it being Lupercalia, we're gonna celebrate Saint Valentine. Saint Valentine stood up for love all these years ago. And just like that, that's how now we have Valentine's Day. Now, just like that, we kind of, it's the same basic premise of all it comes down to is sex. It's a day where, and then that's damn near why men do it now. I mean, they know now on Valentine's Day, your gift is probably just going to be sex from your woman. And that's what it evolved into, simply because the church was trying to kind of obey the Bible, kind of be honorable, but they still wanted these people who were accustomed to worshiping, having that festival on the February 14th to come into the church. So they made like a compromise with a new holiday.
And that's also where the wedding rings come from and all that stuff. That traditional.
I know it definitely a Roman custom. I'm not sure if it directly ties to Valentine's Day, but I definitely believe it's like a Roman or Greek custom. I gotta do some research on it.
So it's like a trick. It was a trick to get them into.
I wouldn't even call it a trick. I would call it more so a compromise. When I say compromise, I mean not in a good way. I mean the Roman Catholics knew what was right and wrong. They knew what they should. They knew that they couldn't have that festival, but they also knew that they wanted money and members. They knew they wanted power, so they compromised their beliefs. They believed that they took on something they would rather not to take on, simply to gain more members. It's like us in the school. If we decided to, if I say everybody can smoke weed now, I'm letting everybody smoke weed in the school because I know more people will be willing to join if I allow people to smoke weed. So I'm compromising on my belief system, compromising what I know is right, just to gain more power. And that's what they did. They just threw away what they knew was right and wrong, just to get more members. And then that's what it comes down to. I guess you definitely could say they seduce people into following a religion they wouldn't have before, just by making it easier to follow a religion. Are we gonna get a couple more scriptures? We're gonna wrap it up after that. Ain't no comments or nothing I gotta address it. All right, let me get probably get like 2 more scriptures. Yeah, let me get Colossians 2:8. Like I brought out in the beginning of the class, there's a lot of pressure, especially on brothers, to go out and prove your love through this holiday. And for the brothers that this year that's in the truth, or just learn the truth, that may be in relationships and that are going to tell their woman for the first time that I'm not celebrating Valentine's Day, I'm not getting you nothing, I don't do that no more. They are going to be met with the concept of, oh, well, you don't love me then, or you don't care about me. They're going to be told these type of things because they're deciding to not compromise and decide to follow the Most High and do what they know to be right. And what we have to understand is that the concepts that we have been taught in America drive us to believe things that aren't true and that don't really matter. Valentine's Day, this day, does not matter in the grand scheme of things. The Most High is the authority on morality. When it comes down to it, the Most High is how we know what's right and what's wrong. Without God, without inspiration from the Most High, without these laws in this book, in the Bible, we wouldn't know what was right and wrong. There would be no reason to not kill, to not rape, to not steal, to not harm others if it wasn't for the words in this book. There would be no good reason. There would be nobody to tell us that this is right and this is wrong. The very basic concepts of morality come from God. So I go to him to know what's right and wrong. I go to him to know how to love my woman. You go to him to know how to love your husband. And the things that the world tells you that you have to do in order to love are not what you have to do. Furthermore, you show your love by not adhering to these things, because to adhere to these things is to adhere to worship of another God, and the Most High is going to punish you for worshiping these other gods. You worshiping Saint Valentine, you worshiping Lupercalia, you worshiping all these things that aren't the Most High. And like we read earlier in the class, we are to have no other gods other than him. So to truly show your love, you throw down Valentine's Day. To show your love for your husband, for your wife, you throw down Valentine's Day. You teach them that these customs aren't how we show our love for each other. We show our love with our everyday actions. You're free to love you're free to give your wife a gift any day. You want to reward your wife for being a good wife? You can get her a gift on April 3rd. You can get your husband a gift on June 2nd. Any day of the year. But these days are days given to you by heathens, given to you to worship another God. So you abstain on these days. But you can enjoy time, reward, do the right thing, and you're supposed to do the right thing every day. But February 14th is not the day to give gifts and go out to eat in the name of love. It's not the day to do those things, and you spit in the face of the Most High, and you lose your integrity when you follow things that have nothing to do with your belief system. Do you believe in worshiping Saint Valentine? Do you believe in worshiping Lupercalia? Do you worship the beginning of the spring solstice? Do you believe in worshiping fertility and doing different customs so you can be fertile and have kids? You don't. You've been lied to and believe that this is how you show your love by adhering to these old traditions that you know nothing about, have nothing to do with you or your culture. What we have to do is not to what I'm trying to drive home is that we cannot we can't break under the pressure that the world is going to put us under. And this happens all the time with every holiday, especially with people when they just come into the truth. We can't suffer the oppression. We can't break under the pressure that the world is going to put on us to celebrate these things. And they're going to guilt you into doing it because this is how you show your love for your family, show your love for your wife. And that is absolute garbage. You show your love for your wife with your everyday actions. With your everyday action, not just one day. Because like I said, you can do this. You can on February 14th, you can take your wife out to eat, give her all the candy and the teddy bears in the world, and leave her on the 15th. That one day, that one vain act of kindness means nothing. You should love your wife every day, love your husband every day. So we shouldn't suffer to these philosophies and these things that have been given to us. My last one, we're gonna get Colossians 2:8.
Come. The book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. Beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Beware of any man spoil you. Spoil you meaning ruin you. Beware of any man spoil you. Read from the top again.
Come, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Through philosophy. Philosophy, meaning man-made concepts. Man-made concepts and ideas. Don't be deceived by a man-made concept. Don't be deceived by the philosophy that the world has given you. When it comes down to it, if God didn't say I had to do it, why do I have to? Why are you charged to celebrate Valentine's Day? Why? Why do you have to do this thing if you're in a relationship or if you like somebody? You got to do this thing on this specific day every year. Why? If God didn't say I wanted to, you ask a Christian right now, did God say you had to go celebrate Valentine's Day every February 14th? They'll tell you no. It's nowhere in the Bible. Anybody that read the Bible for 2 seconds know that's nowhere in there. Well, if God didn't say you have to do it, you don't have to. And furthermore, God said you shouldn't do it. So don't be fooled. Don't be tricked by these philosophies. Read on. Where's the vain?
And vain deceit.
And vain deceits. You have been deceived with vanity, deceived with a heart and a teddy bear. And think about, like I was saying earlier, think about all the women that's going to get their heart broke, not because they didn't get a gift. Not because they didn't get a gift. There's women that's going to get their heart broke that are going to get a gift and still be heartbroken because they're going to get that gift, they're going to get that candy, he's going to have sex with them, and he's going to not exist the next day. She's going to wake up in the hotel room, and he's going to have disappeared like a ghost. And she's going to be heartbroken because she was deceived. Right. She was deceived because she thought, oh, this man coming to me on Valentine, he's my Valentine, or I'm his Valentine, however it worked. I'm his Valentine. He gave me a card, and gave me some candy and took me out to eat. So now I'm gonna have sex with him because that's how it's supposed to work. He showed me kindness, so I show him my gratitude through some sex. And you're gonna think that he actually cared about you and gave a damn about you. And the women are going to be heartbroken the next day when that man leaves because he deceived you. He deceived you. Y'all all were deceived and believing that transaction between gifts and sex meant actual love. When all it means is sex. All it means is a brother knows that he can get you to have sex with him if he gives you this gift on this day. That is damn near guaranteed. If you can catch a certain women at a certain time with that gift, that you're gonna have sex, and he don't care nothing else. He don't care about nothing else but the sex. And you're going to be deceived and heartbroken because you loved gifts. You loved gifts, and you didn't honor integrity. You didn't honor right and wrong. You didn't honor your body enough to realize that maybe I shouldn't have sex with a man just because he was nice to me one day. Maybe I shouldn't have sex with a woman because she was just nice to me one day. Then maybe I shouldn't give all my money up to prove to a woman that I love her on one day of the year. Maybe I should have more integrity to learn what's right and what's wrong, what matters and what doesn't matter. And Valentine's Day does not matter to the Most High. The Most High is the authority. He's on the authority. He's the authority on what matters. He's the authority on what is right and what is wrong. And it's wrong to celebrate Valentine's Day. It's against His word. So here in the I.S.U.P.K, we do not celebrate it. We know it's a sin against the Most High, and we urge all our brothers and sisters in the world to let go of these philosophies, these vain deceits, these things that destroy us rather than bringing us closer to the Most High. And with that, I'll pass it to the president officer, Kaladiza. You can do the announcements now. Let's do the announcements and after that you cut.
All right, it's the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We have the I.S.U.P.K starting out of Rome West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves to the world. If they need transportation, a teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers, you can read about it in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, or Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10, means 10th in the Hebrew, Mayashua, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the teacher, priest for a free will offering for the priest, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you will like, upcoming holy convocations,
I believe so, yes. That's on
The Feast of Purim.
March.
Sunday on the 5th, March 5th.
Yes.
And March 6th. You can read about it in Exodus chapter 9, verse 20 through verse 31. Reminders are Akim and Akram to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, blue shirt, pant, headband, and scarf. With that being said, Imagine, Mr. Brothers. The brothers are going to give one courtesy salute. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine Barak.
Y'all by Shia Shabbat.
That's the time. Imagine for the sisters. Sisters are going to do one courtesy salute to the sisters. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine Barak.
Y'all smile, feel about Shia Shabbat.
Yahweh Shema, Yahweh Shema, Yahweh Shema. Yahweh Shema, that's good.